In this presentation, I'd like to talk a little bit about the kind of work that I do and the issues I work with in individual therapy. I work in individual therapy a lot, and I describe myself as a generalist, which means I work with a broad range of concerns. However, I certainly have some areas that I specialize in and see more in my practice over the years. One of the main areas that people come to me around is connected to mood concerns. People come in very often with feelings of depression or anxiety of varying levels of severity. I think many people will experience a period or periods of depression in their lives, and certainly in our society, experiences of anxiety for all sorts of reasons are on the rise. I believe strongly that therapy is really effective in helping people resolve concerns around anxiety and depression. Certainly, research supports that, and my experience in therapy would support that too. Um, Beyond mood concerns, I also work with people who come in very often dealing with relational concerns. And as I mentioned in my main presentation, I'm very relationally oriented in my work. The kind of relational concerns that people bring into therapy with me may be people who are dealing with the loss of a relationship, or people who are dealing with the loss of a loved one. Or people who are struggling in their social environment in terms of establishing relationships that feel good for them, or people are struggling in their professional environment in terms of managing or navigating the world of relationship connection. People come in for all sorts of relational needs. Another area that may be connected for folks in terms of why they come in is dealing with family of origin concerns and the relationship dynamics and the experience of themselves in their family of origin that is salient. And certainly people can come in with current family relational concerns. I feel strongly that we develop our sense of self as well as our expectations around relationships and people in our primary relational context as young people, as children. So I do think that the power of relationships to affect our well-being is very strong. Another area that people come in to me in an individual context usually around is connected to trauma. I have people who come in who have experienced psychological, emotional, sexual, or physical trauma. Um, Also, people can experience trauma as a result of either being experiencing a traumatic event, such as an assault or a car accident, or some other trauma. Could be people who were in an earthquake, a natural disaster, um, or people who have witnessed or heard about something that's traumatic and they've been vicariously traumatized by it. I believe that trauma work is very, very important and very serious in terms of, I think the impact of trauma goes very deep and is also very quite complex in terms of working with it. I believe for people who are dealing with trauma, having a relationship that feels very safe is really important, and also having a relationship that feels where they feel fully understood, and where they have, I think, an ability to regulate the process in a way that works for them. I think it's very important, especially in trauma work, for the clients to feel like they're in charge, to feel empowered in the process. I certainly feel I need to provide a very stable and secure um, set of skills and expertise for clients in terms of working with trauma and having somebody work with them around those concerns. But I also feel that clients really need to have a sense of their own personal strength and efficacy. Um, so I very much enjoy that work and do quite a bit of trauma work in my practice. Another area that I work with individually is dealing with people who are dealing with experiences of loss. That could be because of a bereavement, loss of a romantic relationship. It could be because of loss of a job. It could be because of loss of status of some sort, or loss of a physical ability because of illness. With loss comes the experience of grief, and while indeed grief is a very natural process and a very healthy process, for some people the grieving process becomes complicated. And I think for those individuals, coming into therapy can be very, very helpful in helping them understand their experience of grief and whatever emotions are connected to that, as well as helping them navigate through that experience in a way that works for them. So I do like that work, and I work a lot with people who are dealing with loss. Um, Another area that I work with people around individually is dealing with change or dealing with life transitions. Certainly, change is an inevitable part of life. Um, People come into me maybe dealing with change as a result of moving geographical location and dealing with the adjustment and change involved in that experience. Or people come in with a change in life circumstances, for example, going from employment to retirement, or from being out of the workforce to returning to it. Or people come in when they're moving into a new relationship and there's a change there and they want a new experience. I really enjoy working with people around these concerns. I think certainly working change can be hard for individuals, and sometimes it's helpful to have an environment where you can one, get support around the change you're going through, two, get assistance in terms of how to navigate that in the best possible way and optimize the opportunities that come with the change. And also, I think it's very important to be able to grieve and honour what you have left behind. I think, in terms of integrating a change process or a transition well, I think part of the process involves grieving and honouring what you have left behind and taking from that the strengths and resources that you've gained moving forward. Um, I think that's about it in terms of the work that I do individually. I certainly work with other issues and other concerns. You can look at my website in terms of just a very a brief list of the main areas of concern that I work with. But if you have further questions and want to see if whatever you're dealing with is something that I can work with, please feel free to give me a call or drop me the information through the form on my website, and I will get back to you with the information and we can talk further. Thank you for taking the time to look at this and listen to this, and I hope it's been helpful to you. Take care.